In this video, I will use my own site here to explain 3 things that are important about your Parallax WooCommerce upgrade. First of all, there's the menu issue. As you can see here right now, there's no menu item to point to my store. I did that so that you could populate some products first before you decide to make the shop or store, whatever you want to call it, readily available from your menu. Second is the sidebar. So your homepage probably looks different, but typically the theme has a sidebar. Now you've got access to a second sidebar. And last, how to connect your existing book pages to your new product pages once they've been created. So you may have to watch a few more videos that are not Parallax for Writers specific, but learn how to create those products. And then once they're created, you can come back and watch the last section of this video that explains how to connect your book pages to your product pages so people can actually buy them on your site and check out and you get paid. So first, that navigation menu. When you hover over your name here, or if you go to the back end, there's menu, and I'll show you that. If you're just in the back end, you can go to Appearance, Menus. And in here, you probably have just the one menu. If you have multiple menus, there's going to be a drop-down menu here where you can select whichever menu. But once you find that menu, if you expand the pages items on the left, you can look at View All, for example, and you could search for it. So if you search for shop, you will find this. You just put a check mark, add to menu. It will move it to the bottom by default, but feel free to move it wherever you want in your navigation menu. Then when you're happy with the position, you can do save menu. Now the menu saved, if I go and look at my site, I will see that shop is now here. If I click on it, it points to the shop where I've got some books populated. You can also see the sidebar here that's different from my regular sidebar. I'll explain that shortly. But first, very important, especially if you've added pages to your menu, Parallax has one limitation in terms of how many things you can put in there. If you reduce the width of this, at some point you will hit the tablet size. This is the tablet size where the navigation is collapsed and you have this hamburger menu. Just before that, this is the space you have to play with. If you've run out of room, what happens is all those words would wrap into a second line and it would hide the top section of all of your pages. So consider rearranging some of your menu items, or you could also delete the home page, because by default when you click on your name, it does take people to the home page. So again, if that's your issue, go to menus. And then things you could do as well is, let's say you had 2 things that could fall one under the other. Maybe my travels could be a child of about, or I could expand this one and remove this one. So whatever you decide to do is fine. Just make sure that you double check. And if you absolutely must keep all of those things in your header, let me know. I'll go back in and I will reduce the font size to make it fit. Another detail about the menu, if you don't like the wording shop, that's totally fine. You could just expand it and rename it something else. Keep in mind that the more letters you use here, the more crowded your menu will become, and that is a limitation to the Parallax for Writers theme. Or you could keep shop in here. I'm just going to save my menu. And you could also go to your list of pages under pages here, and you could rename that page. So look for it, and you could quick edit, call it store, and call it the URL store. This will impact the navigation menu. Whenever you edit the title of a page, the menu will be overwritten to match the new title. You can go back to the menu, re-edit that if needed, but I will keep it to shop because it's a shorter word and I like it. Okay, so enough about the header. Now I've got the shop page added to the top. The sidebar. So if I go in the back end, so again, you can hover over here and go to widgets, or I'll show you in the back end. You can go to appearance, and your exact menu selection here will vary depending on whatever plugins you have. But under appearance, widgets is where you're going to go. And you're now going to see this WooCommerce sidebar. So I've already dragged and dropped this cart thing in the WooCommerce sidebar. If you wanted to always have the cart visible, you could drag and drop the cart into your regular sidebar as well. So it's saved it already. It shows the button as grayed out. So if I go back to the front end of my site, and you now see that I have my cart visible at the top of my sidebar, my regular sidebar, but I want to maybe offer my newsletter as the priority, so I'll move that above, and it's saved it. So if I refresh, now I see this, and if I scroll down, then I see the cart. So it is totally up to you if you want to put the cart in your regular sidebar or not. And also you could drag and drop other things in your WooCommerce sidebar. Keep in mind that if people already have things in their cart, they're nearly there, they're nearly ready to check out. So maybe don't distract them with another call to action. I would recommend leaving just the cart be in there, but it's totally up to you. You could decide to include anything else in here. If for some reason you wanted to copy your custom HTML widget, you could drag and drop a new custom HTML widget and copy and paste the stuff that's in this one, and that would in effect duplicate the entire sign up form, but I would have that visible on the WooCommerce pages. Not my recommended approach, but technically you could do that if you wanted to. After setting up your individual products and connecting it with BookFunnel in the case of ebooks and audiobooks, if you want to add a retailer link on your book page, it's actually quite easy with the Parallax for Writers theme. First, we're going to go to Options, which is near the bottom on most sites. When you're on this page, you will see the top section is called Book Retailer Icons. The name may be slightly different based on when I set up your site, but this is where all of the options are made available. So you can add a row, add a new image, upload it through here. I will include a link below this video to the My Store image, and then you can call it whatever you want. So this is just so you identify that among the drop-down menu when you populate your retailer links at the book level. I'm just going to remove this row here because it's blank, but this is what you do here. Just make sure to add the image. If you want to create your own, the instructions for your specific site should be up here, but typically it's 80 pixels high at whatever the width works out to be. And then you click Update. If you have WordFence enabled, it's possible you're going to have a security warning. Go ahead and whitelist that action. It has to do with the tracking info that contains JavaScript, and it thinks it's a security issue. So if you see that WordFence pop up, go through the steps to whitelist that so you can update it, and then just expand it to make sure that it is still there. So once the new options has been added, go to your list of books, edit the book for which you'd like to offer your store as an option. Scroll down until you see the retailer icon. So this is for ebook. I'm going to add a retailer link. I'm going to select My Store, and I'm just going to open the list of products here in a separate tab, Products, right-clicking to open in a separate tab. This is for this book here. I'm just going to view this book. I'm just going to copy the URL from the product page, go back to where I was, My Store, and if you want to make more money and promote that one first, just drag and drop it to be the very first one so people can consider buying it from you before they buy it from any of the other retailers where the book may be available. You can do the same thing for your paperback. If you sell and ship paperback copies yourself, you can do that. You can also go back to options, upload an image that says signed copy, and then name it signed copy, and that way you can have an image that will say signed copy, and you put in the same way the URL where that signed copy can be added to their cart. And you can also do that for the audiobooks. I don't have audiobooks for my book, but you set up a separate product, be in the audio version of the book. You connect it to BookFunnel for the delivery of the files, and then you can select My Store and the URL where the audiobook version can be purchased from, on your site something like this, but obviously to the audiobook version. Once that's done, I'm just going to click Update. And then you want to always double check your links to make sure that you did not make a typo. So if I scroll down, if I click on My Store, it opens the page where I can add it to the cart, and then people can buy it and check out and do all of that. Now there will be a lot more videos that will be topic specific, so make sure to check the rest of the videos listed on this page.